Okay, so the first thing you should realize that it's an inverted cosine graph, and you should realize that the period is pi. So the implication of period being pi, right, means, right, as long as they got the same y coordinate, okay, the interval is always like a pi interval. So like from here to here is pi. The top is also pi, the interval. So the period here, you can see that it's pi. So because of this, you should realize when they ask you to relate A and C with pi, means that, right, this interval is pi. Okay, so that this part will be quite easy. So this part will be quite easy, which means it's just like A plus pi will be equal to C. So that is the 1 mark answer. Okay, so it comes from the idea of period. Okay, so the instruction, right, is using symmetry or otherwise. The instruction gave you a bit of hint. So you either use otherwise or you use symmetry. Okay, so I will be explaining a bit on the symmetry first. So here is a bit not exactly like symmetry, but here you make use of the period. Also, any horizontal distance is pi. So any horizontal distance is pi. So this horizontal distance is also pi. Okay, so if let's say now I got another point here, right? Okay, this one will also be a pi. Okay, so usually I think the first one is easy. The second one is the more confusing one. We need to link A and B using pi. We need to link A and B using pi. I am also doing the symmetry first. Then after that, I will explain the otherwise. Okay, the symmetry will be something like this. So this one is A and this one is B. I am using the midpoint. I am using the midpoint idea. So because the graph is in a way symmetry, so I'm going to use the midpoint idea. So the midpoint on the x-axis. Okay, this one you need to process this on. So if I do the midpoint here, okay, so if A is here, B is here, right? How do I get the midpoint? Okay, I think I enlarge, then you can see. So if A is here, B is here, how do I get the midpoint? The midpoint will be A plus B over 2. Okay, so if I get the midpoint, it will be A plus B over 2. So I am also comparing with the midpoint. So this midpoint, right, should be half of pi over 2. So the midpoint of A and B will be the midpoint of pi over 2. So from there, I form out the equation. So from here, right, the relationship will be A plus B is equal to pi over 2. So this one is by symmetry. So I am doing it by symmetry. That means I compare the midpoint because the graph is symmetrical. So the midpoint of these 2 points will be the same as the midpoint from 0 to pi over 2. There is also an otherwise method. Okay, I will explain the otherwise method. The answer will still be the same. Okay, I explain the otherwise method for B. Okay, so the otherwise method is I make use of the coordinate. I make use of the X and Y coordinate. So I make use of the X and Y coordinate and I put it into the equation. So I put it into the equation. So I literally just make use of the X and Y coordinate. I put it into the equation. I just shuffle them around. I shuffle them around. Wait, I think I make a careless. So this one should be a 2/3. So I make use of the coordinate. I just substitute in. I got something like this here. So from here, I know by my basic angle is this. And 2A will be this. Okay, so I substitute the coordinate. It looks a bit long, but it's actually not very long. And I got another coordinates, right? So I actually got two coordinates that I can be substituting. So I will substitute. And again, I'm going to like reshuffle everything. But this time around, you get a negative 2/3. Negative 2/3, right, doesn't change the basic angle. The basic angle will still be the same. But when you find out 2B, it will be in the second quadrant because cosine is negative. So I do a substitution, I do a ASTC, then I end up doing a simultaneous. So I end up doing a simultaneous. I substitute this here. I do a simultaneous after I sub the X and Y coordinate. Okay, actually, this was the first one that I did. I did the substitution of the coordinate, and then I do it in this way. After the substitution, right, I actually got this. So I end up with this. I end up with this, which is also the same answer if I have gotten it by a symmetry. So when I do it by symmetry, right, I'm using the midpoint idea. If I am doing it by the XY coordinate, there's a bit of basic angle involved. Okay, so I do not know which one relates to you. If you find that this one is a bit confusing, right, you see what you can absorb first. Okay, I think the first one should be manageable. The period pi thing should be manageable. So I'm just going through, right, in a sense that if there are similar questions that's going to come out, so you use the symmetry idea or you use the coordinate idea.